You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Hannibal After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Hannibal After Show.
Welcome to Hannibal AFTERBUZZ After Show. It is episode 3, season 2. Hassun. How soon? Right now.
Okay.
All right, excellent. I'm Joe Sanfelippo. I'm joined by the lovely Julia Cearley.
Hi, guys, gentlemen. Hello, everybody.
I'm also joined, I believe, for the first time in recorded history, by the magnificent, the munificent, the currently scruffified Nando Velasquez.
Thank you very much. I think recorded history did not start 2 weeks ago, but okay.
That's a fair point.
If you want to say recorded history, the first time this season.
This is the first time we have Nando this season on the Hannibal.
Usually I can only make the nighttime shoots. I'm making a rare daytime appearance.
This is very exciting.
Yes, I'm not a vampire. I'm not a vampire.
No, and it looks like you got some sun. You look conscious. You look
I'm very scruffy.
This is good.
Both of us are really scruffy.
I know.
I love a scruffy man, so this is good.
You are surrounded by scruffification.
This is my preference. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for thinking of me.
You're welcome, Julia. That's what we're thinking of.
We are missing Mr. Joseph Braswell. He is currently in Denver. He says he's working. I am fairly well convinced he'll be getting debauched. So if you're in the Denver area, hit him up. Now we just blew Joe up. We just totally blew him up. All right. So let's get right into this. This was such a good episode. This was dense. This was like dense cake. I don't know. I'm going like dense, like super thick, rich cake. Nando, what were your impressions of this episode?
Oh, it was so good. That's my impression. My impression of this episode, you're crazy. No, I'm not. No, I'm all over the place right now. I enjoyed this episode. I really like where they're going. You got to get Will to trial. We got to start moving this story forward. We got to start studying out. I was really concerned that this might turn into a procedural with Will in prison. And Hannibal or one of the other people always going on getting information from him. So now it's great to finally move this forward.
I agree with you.
There you go.
I agree.
I agree. The forward trajectory of this episode was much needed, I think, and beautifully executed. I think this was another knockout Jack episund. He was phenomenal. He's been killing it this season. Killing it.
They're giving him more to do, too. They're giving him a lot more to do.
And I love him in general. This episode just kind of knocked my socks off. I was really excited by it. I love this show so much.
I agree with you guys, and it's so well done. And Nando, what I love about it is exactly what you said. This is not a procedural right now. We are telling a story, and we're doing it slow, and this episode they just like I don't know how to describe. The dialogue was so dense. Like if you took the time to really go through each scene, you're like, man, this is you can let it wash over you, but if you kind of delve into it, it is dense, man. All right, well, we start this thing in Will's cell, and Will is having a dream. We start with that backwards clock, and we see that Will is executing himself, right?
Yes.
All right, so we've got Will strapped to an electric chair, and then the other Will dressed in a suit. Is he Hannibal in his dream?
I don't think he was Hannibal in his dream. I don't know. I didn't pick up on that.
No, but
his tie would have been much bigger.
That's true.
His Windsor would have been much bigger.
Yes, yes.
But he was somebody because he can take on the persona of other killers.
Because you're everybody in your dream, right?
Yeah, he's everybody in his dream. So, but I think that definitely, perhaps his whole he's frying his own brain. I think that's the key right there. He's frying his own brain. And someone as super analytical as himself and also suffering from, well, at least last season, encephalitis. Although I will say this episode in particular, he was hallucinating a lot for someone who is apparently...
Not encephalitis.
Yeah, apparently doesn't really have that problem anymore. He seems to be hallucinating quite a bit. But I definitely think there's an analogy for what he's doing to himself.
That imagery of that electrocution was really chilling, from the veins in his arms to the tremors throughout his body. It was really it stuck with me.
And there was a lot of smoking.
A lot of smoking.
And it's something about the reverse smoking that goes, wow, that was a lot of smoking.
A lot of smoking.
The body's absorbing the... All right, so we get finished with our hallucination. What's a dream? I don't know, hallucination. Then we have the montage of Hannibal and Will getting dressed at the same time. I have to say this. I feel that we were cheated. And I'm going to tell you why I feel that we were cheated. Because I have wanted to figure out how he ties that goddamn tie for 2 seasons now. And I'm like, today's my day.
I think that would have taken 20 minutes.
I was really looking forward to you guys getting a little instructional
Something,
video from Mads
right?
how to
make
create that tie.
And they flip right through it.
They did.
Flip, flip.
Just a little tip for you. Google.
I will not. I will not.
Google it.
Did you mean tie the tie like a grown-up? Yes, Google. That's what I meant. Anyway, so
even just the stark
YouTube.
comparison between their shirts and the materials, the ties, it just showed what such a different place that they were both in.
Yeah.
Hannibal's person suit is of high quality.
Yes. I love the quality of that shirt.
Oh, it really was. It was like visibly
beautiful.
impressive. All right, so we get into court, and the prosecuting attorney comes out, and she seems personally affronted by this. She's very, very good, by the way. All of the guest stars this week, I was blown out. Cynthia Nixon. You went and found the defense attorney, Sean Doyle.
Sean Doyle who played the defense attorney Brower.
So
Leonard
terrific.
Brower was wonderful, and
Wasn't he
Raul
great?
Esparza, of course, who plays Chilton. He's just killing it.
Lord High King shit
Really
crap weasel in
creepy.
charge. Oh, is he great?
So creepy, so great. I love him. I love everything he does.
So well done. So we get into the courtroom case, and we get back. We get a little refresher for those of us who had forgotten about Derek Jacob Hobbs, the Minnesota Shrike, and the idea being that Will profiles him, and then eventually and kills him, and in killing him seems to adopt the persona. Seems to be what the prosecutor is arguing, and it's and she's arguing that it's on a conscious level, right? The prosecutor.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And then the state adopts.
She's pretty much saying he's the smartest person in the room, that he has everybody fooled.
How great was that shot of Hannibal when
Yes.
she said
She
that?
said that, yes.
And he's the smartest person in the room, and Hannibal's like, have you seen his tie? It's not as good as mine. And we get to something. We get a little tidbit here. I didn't remember from last season. She says that he kills and eats Abigail Hobbs, and they never found the rest of or at least the ear, because they never found the rest of Abigail. So is Abigail dead? Do we know?
I think I made this prediction last season, but I don't think she's dead. And they even say that the ear was cut off while she was still alive. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
No one's found her body. She and Hannibal were pretty tight.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. I've made this prediction before. I will probably make it again. I think I just did.
I think you just
Abigail is
did.
alive.
I think you just did. I just feel that Hannibal would not really leave anyone alive, even though he did have that relationship with Abigail. I just don't see that one happening.
They got on very well, but
it did.
But why go to all this trouble to hide it? To hide the body?
Well, I mean, to keep the priority on Will.
and he does have a process. Whatever it is, he makes a beautiful meal. The presentation's always magnificent,
Stunning,
and
yes.
they do tend to go away after that. Whatever he does with the bones, it's good. It's impressive.
I'm not sold yet.
Well, I feel like if Abigail is alive, we need to find out sooner rather than later. So hopefully it'll be an answer that we'll get really soon.
I hope so too. I like her a lot. I'd like for her to be alive.
Do you miss her?
And, yeah.
Aw.
Maybe she's all Van Gogh'd out, and we just get her with a little limpy,
What's the ear?
little
She has
lopsided.
another one on the other side.
Yeah. Huh? What was that? Over there. Okay. Then we go outside, and Jack Crawford is having his discussion with Cade Purnell, our girl Cynthia Nixon, and she's kind of getting into him a little bit because he seems to be kind of wishy-washy on which way he's going to go.
Because he doesn't truly believe it. You know, he knows. I think there's a part of him who doesn't want to believe it, and there's another part of him, the pragmatic part, who just can't put it together, even though all the evidence is pointing in that direction, and it's almost too obvious. There's something that he knows is missing.
So you think on some level he's got his little spidey senses are tingling,
Little
something's
spidey
not right.
sense.
Yeah, well, I agree with that. I mean, he if anything, and he says it, he feels guilty. He feels like he's the one who drove Will to possibly doing something, but he knows Will's not 100% guilty. He doesn't feel Will has pulled the wool over his eyes like the prosecution wants him to see. I mean, that's the way I look at it. I do think that Cynthia Nixon's character, what's her name again? Pardon me.
Cade Purnell.
Cade Purnell. I do think that she is just a suit trying to cover her butt. She just seems to continue to to try and just get into Jack's face no matter what decision he makes either way anyway.
Well, it sounds. Go ahead.
I think she needs the FBI for image control needs this verdict.
Yeah, that's what
Needs him to be guilty.
she's running the company line, and she says to him, you know, if you don't want to talk about your own point of view, if you feel guilty about that, that's your problem. You have to go in there and be the FBI's witness then.
Yeah.
And so we cut back into the courtroom. We do need to take a second here. It is March 17th, which means it is March 17th.
Oh, yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day,
Yeah, which means it's
everybody.
St. Patrick's Day. So everybody do a shot for us.
Woo!
It is also the day before March 18th, which it is every year. But this year on March 18th, Maria's new reality show, Chasing Maria Menounos, is launching on Oxygen tomorrow, March the 18th. And we're going to show you a little something about it right now.
Tuesdays on Oxygen.
I'm Maria Menounos, and my life can get a little crazy. I host Extra. I'm an actor, producer, dancer, wrestler, and a lot of other things. I live with Kevin, my boyfriend of 15 years. Do you really love me?
I would say that I'm in serious like.
And my parents. Yep, I just said I live with my parents.
You drive me crazy.
You drive me crazy. My parents want us to get married.
You both love each other. Get married.
Kevin and I don't. I am going to get married when I want to get married. I think I want kids. Kevin definitely doesn't want them now.
This is being pushed on to us.
And of course, my parents wanted them yesterday.
This year you gotta have it.
And I have a house full of people counting on me financially. If I take my eye off the ball, everything can fall apart.
It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or wants us to do. It's what we want to do.
Everyone thinks that they know what's best for me, but I'm really the only one. I have got to figure things out.
Chasing Maria Menounos is so new. Every Tuesday at 10, 9 Central, starting March 18th, only on Oxygen.
I don't know how.
That sounds hysterical.
It does.
I don't know how anybody keeps up with her. I think we all got to hang out with her for like maybe 15-hour period, and I remember at the end of it just being so exhausted.
Yeah.
And then we saw her on TV hosting a parade about 2 hours later.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you do this?
Well, Joe Braswell and myself have actually had the honor of working with her outside of AfterBuzz in Extra and Access Hollywood when she worked in both those shows, and she really works her butt off. And she's very passionate about everything, the wrestling, the dancing, everything. When she takes on a project, she goes full hog. So to see her multitask is amazing.
It is nonstop, man. And her parents are cool as hell. They're funny as
yes,
they're
are.
hilarious.
Met them.
And of course, Kevin, who's also our boss here in AfterBuzz.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
It's a great idea.
It's a great dynamic.
Her parents,
That'll be hysterical.
her parents are hilarious. You're Greek. I'm like, no, I'm Sicilian. You're Greek. Come on. All right, so please check out tomorrow on Oxygen, March 18th, the big launch for Chasing Maria Menounos. Do yourself a favor, check that guy out. All right, back to Hannibal?
Yes.
All right,
Back
so
to
we've
Hannibal.
got Jack up on the stand. All right, now he talks about how he met Will. And this is a great little thing because I don't remember this, but maybe this happens before the action of the show. He met Will at the opening of the Evil Minds Museum. Right, and Will did not like the name because it glorified banal and cruel men.
Yes.
And so this is the picture we're getting of this guy. Not a killer, clearly, but this prosecutor's not going to let it go.
No.
No, of course not.
No. Anyway, we get Will is very likely on the spectrum. What is that? What do we?
The autistic spectrum.
Is the autistic spectrum?
That's what I.
Well,
took it to
I believe I wrote it down here somewhere. I'll find it. Oh, yeah. He's an introverted personality, and he places himself somewhere on the spectrum between Asperger's and autism, and claims to have an empathy disorder. So all this stuff. And, of course, the doctor's they're saying he's never been diagnosed. This is just everything that Will claims.
Oh, I see. So the structure we're kind of putting together on the prosecution side is that no one's examined him. And Childress said it.
He refuses to be examined. Yeah.
Chilton, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Chilton said it, and so there's no outside verification. This is just Will's point of view.
And the way that he presents himself to the world, he's living this, whether it's a lie or not, whatever.
Yeah.
This is who he is, and he seems to obviously present to be somewhere on the spectrum.
Yeah, he's projecting himself to be a certain way, but of course, what the prosecution is trying to say is that he is fully aware. Again, being the smartest man in the world, he's fully aware of what he's doing. He's playing games with people. Meanwhile, she's just nailing Hannibal to a T, just doesn't realize
it's hilarious, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything she's saying is all about Hannibal. And then Jack goes on to say, Will hated the work. I made him do it. I was warned by numerous people that not to push him, I could break him, and I did, and here we are.
So this was a big turn for Jack. This was a big moment for him. He comes in from the scene before with Cynthia Nixon, with Katie Purnell. She's telling him, you know, this is the evidence that you presented. This is what it is. Do your job for the FBI. Let yourself off the hook. She said that to him. So now he's up on the stand doing what he's supposed to do, and he cannot tell a lie. He is Honest Abe here, and that's the moment where he admits to himself, I think, that he doesn't necessarily. There's a shred of doubt for him that Will is the killer.
And he's giving their defense.
Yeah, and he's taking some of the blame.
Yeah, he's giving their defense plausibility too.
Yes.
He's saying if he did it, it's my fault.
Yeah.
Because I broke him.
Absolutely.
I broke his
He
mind.
was warned. He said, I put those checks and balances in place and then I ignored them. And here we are.
Katie got pissed.
Ooh, was she mad? Stormed out.
Cynthia Nixon, she's Cynthia Nixon right out of there. Straight out the door.
Like only she can.
Right? She's a great casting choice for that. She's terrific. She's got that cold, calculating thing with just enough empathy in her voice to kind of make you think she might give you a hug, maybe, but probably not.
But probably not.
It's perfect. Defense counsel, I love this guy. What did you say his name was?
Sean Doyle is the actor playing Leonard Brower.
Sean Doyle. He killed it, man.
He was great.
That whole scene where he's like, listen, this isn't law, this is advertising.
Yes.
Totally smarmy. Yeah,
he was smarmy, exactly.
And unflappable. Like, we get the ear delivered, right? He dumps it on his desk and he's like,
oh, that's for you.
I think I opened your mail. That was awesome.
He had some great lines in this.
Did he?
And he delivered them so perfectly.
He had a good role.
I hope he survives.
I hope so too. Maybe they'll kill him last.
Maybe last.
Right?
We still need him.
I always feel like it's Commando. We're watching the movie Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I always feel like that, like, you told me you'd kill me last. I lied.
Yes.
I always feel like everyone's going to die. It's just a matter of when. Yeah. So we get this ear dropped on us, apropos of nothing, and so now we know that there's somebody else is involved here. Now, whether or not, what do we call it?
It's a copycat.
It's a copycat.
Because obviously the ear goes back to Abigail Hobbs. Or it's not the ear it goes back to, but just the actual imagery of the ear goes back to Abigail Hobbs.
Well, it's one of the four types of murder that Will had, right?
Yes, exactly.
I got a theory about that. I don't think it's copycat.
Okay, well we'll save that. We'll save that theory for a little bit later. Yeah, okay.
Ding, there it is.
Got it. Okay.
Then we have our meeting with Jack and Hannibal, and this really plays in. This is the continuation of Jack on the stand. Hannibal's a brave thing you did. It may have cost me my job. And he says, was it your resignation? And he says, wait, I've given my life to death. And you get the vibe he wants it back. He's kind of done, right?
Well, I think that was also in reference to Bella, because then he starts talking about his wife.
Death has followed you home.
Yes, because death has
followed you
live in
your house.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. So I believe that was kind of leading on to Bella when he said that line.
And he even said before the "I've given my life to death" line, he says, "I haven't felt better in weeks." And Hannibal says to him, "Clarity will do that." So I thought that was a really interesting moment for the both of them.
Yeah. Well, she eventually tells him not to commit professional suicide and not to force an issue for the short-term emotional satisfaction it can have. So again, I think that's also because his mind is on Bella all of a sudden, and his mind's on, you know what? I failed Will, and perhaps this is where I'm meant to be, and I'm meant to retire or quit and go back to be with my wife.
So remind me, I don't remember what Bella's deal was. She's sick with
cancer.
Is it cancer?
Terminal.
Terminal, right?
Yeah.
And he said that she keeps the bedroom, no flowers, no pills.
Yeah.
There's no sickness, right? And so he was saying he could take her to Italy. She could die there. That's where they met.
That's where they met.
That's grim, man. That's a tough place to be.
It's grim.
All right.
It's oddly romantic in a weird way too, but
Isn't
it's
it?
grim. Yes.
It's like gothic. It's just like it's of a different era almost. All right, so you're not sick, Jack. Your wife is, and you guys we hit that. Sorry,
Next.
I feel like this was such a dense episode. I feel like we're going through a checklist. All right, so we see Hannibal and Will in the cell, and Will is still running his game on Hannibal. And Hannibal says he is grateful that someone sent that ear. There's another killer, And how Will plays it, he says, I don't know what anyone else is capable of anymore. So, so here's the question here. With Will here talking with Hannibal, Hannibal still has no idea that Will's playing him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think he's bought it, hook, line, and sinker?
Yeah. I mean, it's such a great dialogue in this scene was so great about Will asking Hannibal, "How far would you go to help me?" And you know, I'm grateful someone has. And then Will saying, accusing you makes me look insane. I'm not insane, not anymore.
Not anymore.
I mean,
Right.
that's a huge, like, it's almost like a wink to Hannibal. I'm not insane. I know what's going on. And I don't think Hannibal's bought hook, line, sinker, but I think Hannibal, if anything, he's just so, you know, high status, and he just feels like he's above everything. He's like, yeah, you think you have me. Okay, I'm going to let you believe that you have me.
You think that's it?
I really think it's just, again, a chess game where, okay, it's your move, Will. I want to get you out of here. I know your end game is probably to get me, you know, to switch places with me. But, you know, we're gonna have fun with this and see what happens. We're going to see if you get to check me, but you're not going to checkmate me. Yeah.
But he cares about him as well.
He does.
Does he really, though?
I really think he does. He says it not only to Will, he says it to his own therapist, and he says it over and over and over. He is my friend. I care about him. I care about what happens to him. I don't want him to be in. I don't want you to be in here. I think he does.
I don't know.
I think he's sort of on both sides of that spectrum there, but I think in the end it's rooted in love.
You think? See, here's what I think. I think he's trying on a next level person suit. Can I have a friend? Maybe I'll try a wife in a few years. Like, how, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Maybe you should start with a dog.
Yeah, start with a dog, and we're
Yeah.
well. You know, he hasn't tried with the pets yet, but you know, he's trying. Like, maybe that's what Will is to him. He's like a pet. He's like, well, I'm gonna set him up, and I'm gonna see if I can sell to everyone that I have a friend, and see if I can show friend, and see if I can show that I have a person I care about. And I don't know. It doesn't.
Doesn't gel for you, huh?
His brand of loving ain't nice. Your brand of loving's rough. I love Mad's face, too, because there's nothing on it.
Yeah.
That's just a grim grill, and it's like, is he know? Does he not know?
You can't read him.
Nothing happening.
You can't read him, but I really do think that he still feels he's on top of this whole thing, and Will can think whatever he wants to think, but he's 2 steps ahead.
All right, so he says something, though, that's going to tie in with my thought here.
Yeah.
Because, again, you know, is Hannibal really, does he really like Will? Does he really not like Will? Is he this new killer? Is he, anyway, so this killer wants to be seen. Will, he cares about you. Like, that's what he says.
He cares what happens to you.
Interesting. Then we hop back to the courtroom where we see Freddie Lowndes for the first time in a while.
What an outfit, Freddie.
Yes.
She
Oh,
really
boy.
dressed it up for the trial, didn't she? Really laying it on thick. Gloves, hat.
Oh, didn't she look like a
She's
cheap
missing
widow?
like a southern accent.
Right? Doesn't she look like a widow who's trying to sell it to the insurance salesman?
Yeah, she needs a little veil.
Oh,
Little
I got the
black veil.
vapors. I got the vapors. I'm
do
so
declare.
sad. Oh, I loved it. The defense attorney was great. Well, Freddie says Abigail was afraid of Will and you know, afraid that he would kill her and eat her, and that's incredibly specific, Freddie.
Bullshit.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the defense attorney, I love him. So, how many times have you been sued for libel?
6.
And how many times did you settle?
6.
I got no further questions.
That was a good reenactment.
That was high five.
Nice work.
Way to put an unreliable witness on the stand.
Right.
Jeez, amazing.
Oh, yeah, you would think, right, that the prosecutor would have been like,
She's the most unsympathetic character,
Oh,
that
God,
Freddie
yes.
Lowndes, down to
yeah.
her fiery red curls. Oh, she's awful and great. I love her.
oh, she's terrific. I just love the idea, too, that you put her on the stand. You're right. You're 100% right, Nando. Like,
Yeah.
there's no sense of the prosecutor going like, this is probably a really bad idea.
I mean, she works for Tattle Crime. Come on.
The name is Tattle.
Come on.
Tattle crime.
All right, so after our girl Freddie Lowndes is done, we go to the practice session with Dr. Alana Bloom and my favorite new defense attorney. What's his name?
Sean Doyle.
I love this scene.
He's the actor.
This is such a great scene. Oh, you go all, when you're talking about Will, you go all starey and non-blinky. Looks like you stepped in young adult and cracked it.
Young adult was really good. And just his delivery, you're smitten with the accuser. While it's adorable,
Right.
it's not our brand.
It's not our brand of defense. Looks like you stepped in young adult and tracked it in the courtroom. Oh my goodness, that was beautiful.
I loved it though, and I love the way he sort of stands up to Alana, because Alana, she's a powerhouse. Alana Bloom, you know, she's very serious, she's very bright, so it's nice to, I don't know, I just think it's nice for her to be brought down a peg every once in a while.
Oh yeah.
I think she always strikes me as the type of character that, like, you know, I actually got a sister who's very much like her. Like, well, I feel this way, and therefore it's right. And, well, no, not always. I mean, you feel that way, and that's great. No, it's right. Like, no, it's how you feel. That's all it is.
And I just love that this attorney keeps on getting down to the basics of it. It's not about whether he's guilty or innocent. It's about the verdict. Guilt or innocent is not necessarily a verdict. You know, that's what we're trying to accomplish here. It's advertisement.
That's it.
It's selling the audience. So stop it, guys. Stop getting all clinical on me. It's not about this. It's about the end results.
That's it. Can we get them to have enough confusion? That's all
Yes.
we need. All right.
But they all want answers.
Answers. We get the knife here. We found out that the lab, our friends at the lab, who they were hilarious this episode.
They were
And
funny this time.
It's so dense that they're not going to get enough love for it, but they were funny. So they find the knife, and we found out that it's Will's knife, and it was checked in as evidence, then checked out by our bailiff Andrew Sykes, and never returned.
Never returned.
Yes.
And then so we go to the house, and it's been booby-twapped.
Beautifully.
Beautifully booby-twapped. And we wind up with a crispy corpse on antlers with a slice open mouth.
Missing an ear.
Missing an ear. That's a
1, 2, 3, 4.
4 in 1 special.
Boom.
Done.
Ta-da!
So our crime investigators, Hannibal, we have this what did Hannibal call it? When Hannibal gets there, he goes, was it an arresting bit of theater? Is that what he called it? So this is Will Graham's greatest hits, right?
Will Graham's greatest hits.
Yes. So now we have the possibility that there's someone else that could pin this all on, right?
And it needs to be noted that some of the things that were done to this corpse, to this, what's his name, Andrew Sykes, it was not released to the public.
Right, these weren't public.
So this is someone on the inside, guys. No one knows about a lot of this stuff.
I'll tell you who I think it is later
I have
on.
an idea.
So we get Jack and Cade in front of the judge, and that did not go well. Jack is summarily told that he does not get to plan the defense, and move on. Then we get Will fishing in his mind, which is, we've talked about it on the interwebs.
God, yes, we have.
Will is doing his mind fishing, where he's trying to find the truth.
He seemed to be in a happy place fishing, didn't he?
Didn't he?
Yeah. He likes fishing.
Not in real life.
Just while Chilton is testifying.
It's just, he's just like checking out.
This is another moment where in Chilton, up on the stand, is really just describing Hannibal to a T, much like the prosecuting attorney was doing.
Once again.
Oh, yeah. Brilliantly, too. God, he's so smarmy. He's so great. Raul Esparza.
Not what did he say for not yet a name for what he is?
Yes.
And
saving lives is just as arousing as ending them.
Yeah, that was so good.
Driven by vanity, high opinion of his intelligence, and caught the other killers to prove he was smarter than all of them. That is Hannibal to a T.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bing! Hannibal. Absolutely loved it. And I just love Dr. Chilton as a character because he is such a crap weasel. And I just adore. He's got that goofy cane that he's playing with the whole time. Like, you creepy little thing, you. So vanity and whim, isn't that what that's isn't that what else we said? That's why Will caught the criminals. That's right. Okay, yeah, we said that. You said that.
I said it. I got you. I got you
You
covered.
got this. You got this.
I just thought it was just perfect. Everything he said to a T. Loved it. Right on the money. Way to go, Chilton.
Way to go.
Wrong dude.
We know that Chilton gets his eventually, so we can always wait for that.
I mean, an old friend for dinner.
Yes, we're having an old friend for dinner. All right, so we get Hannibal and Will, and we got Will doing his old do here. We give him the crime scene pic. Well, Hannibal gives him the crime scene pictures, the forensic report. What do you see? Return of the pendulum.
Yes.
First time in season 2.
Yes.
I've been waiting for it. I got a little excited. I got a little nostalgic, excited, all of the above.
Right?
I love the pendulum.
And we have our recreation, which was incredibly creepy.
Cool effects.
Yeah.
That impaling onto the antlers. Hot damn. That looked good.
You know what it made me think of? I get practical sometimes. I'm like, well, then you had to have mounted that on a couple of 2x4s or a couple of 2x6s, because there's no way in hell it would have taken the man's weight unless you properly anchored it to the ground.
That's what you thought about.
That's what I thought about.
That's your takeaway.
That's why the bailiff looked like a big guy.
Is you're making a Home Depot shopping list.
That's all I'm saying. I need
Can
some
you
rope.
see Hannibal
Some
Home Depot in his spacesuit?
Right?
I can see
No,
it
no,
now.
I'll find it myself. Thank you. I know exactly where to go.
Okay, so that was gruesome. Down to like the cutting of the
mouth. That was what was the
mouth smiley thingy.
Good effects, huh?
Ugh. Bloody teeth.
Slice.
Aye.
All right.
Love it. Never gets old.
We get down to it, though. We find out that it's a tribute, but it is not the same, because the other victims all had this horrible stuff happen to them while they were alive. Lungs removed while they're alive, burned alive. Of course, that is in the name, while you're alive. He is now this guy shoots people.
Kills him first and then mutilates.
And then mutilates. So he says to Hannibal, you know this is not the same killer. And then he brings up Akram's broom, which I was not familiar with.
No, I had to rewind it a million times because I thought I was missing something.
I'm familiar with the razor, but not the broom.
Would you like to tell us about it?
I'm going to tell you what they said. I didn't look it up independently. This may be total BS. I have no idea.
Just sell it, Joe. Sell it.
Ignore the facts that refute your argument and hope that no one will notice. I would imagine if you look that up in the dictionary, the hope that no one would notice part probably won't be there. But that's Akram's broom, apparently. And maybe it's a thing. Maybe it's not. I don't know. We have no idea. But Will said it, and so now there it is. It's a thing here. So Hannibal wanted to dispel your doubts once and for all. I want you to believe in the best of me. Why? Why does he say that to Will?
Because he likes him.
Why?
Because he wants him to be his friend.
I don't understand.
I don't understand it, but that's where all signs are pointing. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah? You think he wants to be friends?
I think, of course, he wants to be friends.
But why?
2-1, Joe.
I know, but I've got really big exclamation points and question marks, which means I was very serious about the question. All right, so Hannibal says, I wanted to dispel your doubts once and for all, and I want you to believe in the best of me. We don't know why. And then he says, he is your path to freedom, which said to me that if you took this at face value, hey, Will, I can get you out of prison, and we can do this whole effing thing again. Wouldn't that be fun? We can start at the beginning.
Start the dance over.
We can start whacking people.
Yeah.
I'll have you solve the crimes. I'll make you insane again and put you back in prison. Won't that be fun?
But we'll be together.
Loo, loo, loo. I don't know, man.
This killer wrote you a poem. Are you gonna let his love go to waste?
And then we have our meeting with Alana and Will and the defense attorney. Switching tactics. Alana is very uncomfortable.
Yes.
And frankly, so was I. And then Hannibal is set to testify, not Alana. We get rid of Alana. And then Will sees the stag.
Yes. See a lot of that this season.
Yeah, a lot of symbolism.
See a lot of Hannibal stag.
There's a lot of symbolism in this show right now. We got the Will executing Will, suited Will executing not suited Will.
Yeah.
Either way, it's electric chair. We've got the stag that we see, the stag that let him out of the cell, and then
let him on.
I'm saying, and then Hannibal is back at the cell, saying, "Welcome back to the cell." So the stag will get you out, and the stag will put you back in.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, we haven't got there yet, but I'm saying a lot of symbolism going on here.
Okay.
A lot of deep stuff happening. So Hannibal is supposed to be Will's stability. He points and he points the new killer. Will rightly could not believe he did these things. He is my friend. Okay, so he's saying that Will correctly could not believe he did these things. I was supposed to be Will's stability. This new killer must be the one who did it because Will didn't do it. It's right that he wouldn't believe that he did it. Right? Isn't that what Hannibal's essentially saying in the testimony?
Yes.
Yes.
So here's my question.
Okay.
Here's my question. All right, so the prosecutor is no joke, right? So she goes, she goes after it. She says these guys were shot first, then they were mutilated. Obviously not the same killer. Judge says, what? Inadmissible defense, out. Now Will is in deep shit because the insanity defense is out.
So him taking the stand and intentionally, leaving out the fact that that the bodies were shot first.
Right.
And the prosecutor bringing it up. So he's intentionally leaving that out. So he is committing perjury for Will. Will knows that he's committing perjury for him. So now they have, I feel like, kind of an unspoken bond, much like Hannibal had with Abigail when they lied for each other when she killed the kid.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a tactic that he uses to make people indebted to him, so they both seem to have something over each other right now.
Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, all right. So
he's kind of like his new little Abigail, because he really took her under his wing last season.
Well, he did.
And now he's going all out to get him out of prison, including committing perjury. But they both know that they're lying, that he's lying. Does this make sense? I'm working it out here.
Nando, what do you think?
Well,
am I onto something? Am I crazy?
I think you're onto something.
What do you? Okay, so here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my question. Hannibal knows that it's not the same killer, obviously, Hannibal knows that the evidence will show that it's not the same killer because this killer is obviously a copycat. He's shooting people first. The other people were tortured. So much more control of the scene, right? Isn't that the deal? You have to have so much control of the scene so you can actually torture these people, right? At your leisure.
Yes.
Right? But these guys didn't have that. So do you think Hannibal took the stand honestly attempting to get Will off? Or do you think he took the stand so that in doing it this way, he shut down the insanity defense, therefore guaranteeing that Will is going to go all the way through the trial? I don't know. See?
Yeah.
Because remember she said that you can't go back to an insanity defense once you've gone with hey I'm not
Well,
the
you
killer
can't go back
defense.
to that whole unconscious defense.
I don't know. He seemed pretty pissed when it got thrown out, when it was inadmissible.
Yeah.
All right. So if
he exacted some
and
revenge
then the
there,
next scene
didn't
we
he?
see pretty much is the whole thing with the judge.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm
it
saying.
makes
He's
you wonder.
pissed.
Yeah.
So okay, so you're saying
He
that
had a plan and it was shot down.
so the janitor discovers the judge. Holy shit.
Holy shit is right.
Yeah, wow.
No brain. The brain is on the scales of justice.
Justice is blind, mindless, and heartless.
Yep.
Blind,
mindless,
and heartless.
Yes.
God,
because the brain and the hearts are on the scales.
It's so bizarre. I love this era of television because nothing's off limits anymore. And so it's like, hey, we're going to make some symbolism. We're going to string up a judge. We'll cut his brain out. We'll put a blindfold on him. We'll put his brain and his heart on the scales of justice. And you guys can dig the symbols out of it.
And it's kind of pretty.
And we're impressed.
We're impressed.
And no one's picketing the show. Everybody's like, that was really good.
That was really good.
That was impressive. All right. So again, shot and displayed though. Right? And what did Hannibal say about psychopathic violence is
goal-oriented.
Goal-oriented.
Means to a very particular end.
So he wants to delay the trial. Is that what the end result is?
I don't know. That's the question. Was that the end result? Because I think it was pretty obvious that this was going to end up as a mistrial.
Yeah.
So is this person's goal to get Will out of prison, or is this person's goal to just keep the torment going on for Will?
That's my question.
The question. Yeah. I mean, that's what I see. And then also really, we keep thinking that this killer wants Will out, but I don't know if that's necessarily clear. The one thing that I think is really interesting, though, I think is even after the justice, after they discover the justice, Jack is still getting hammered about, because it's like as if this is all Jack's fault. He's getting hammered by what's Cynthia Nixon's character
Kate.
again? Kate. Yeah, and Katie. And I almost feel like she seems to almost have more to gain from this than you might think, because I think she really wants to use Jack as a scapegoat. You
think so?
Yeah.
You think she wants to hang it all around his neck?
I think so. I'm not saying she's the killer, but I'm just saying I don't know if Hannibal's the killer. I don't think he is.
This new one,
I think this copycat one is someone new, or maybe like you said, it could be like Abigail, or it could be somebody else that comes back. But definitely whoever this person is not taking the same liberties with these killings that Hannibal did. Even when Hannibal did the apparent copycat in season 1, it wasn't like this. So it was something that only Will could figure out. But everyone seems to know about this gunshot.
Well, this is a pretty. I mean, how do you display a sitting judge in his own chambers and no one noticed? I mean, these are public buildings. There's tons of people around. This is an impressive maneuver here.
So you would think it'd have to be an official of some sort,
or somebody that would not cause any. Maybe somebody wearing a suit with a big tie. I mean, if you're wearing a suit, you can pretty much go anywhere you want.
Well, and again, Will did say when he was breaking down the crime for the bailiff that the bailiff died
thinking he had a buddy.
He had a friend.
Right. All right. Well, and this scene got interesting to me. First off, it was interesting to me that Katie was so vehemently like berating Jack, and then she turns around and she looks like she's going to puke, and she leaves the deal. She's like, clearly like, I'm going to leave the dead people to you dead people.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stay here and just stare at this guy. I can't handle this. And then you have the discussion about this whole thing with Hannibal, and he says he feels like Peter. I'm about to deny Will for the 3rd time, but this isn't the same killer. And then Jack and Cade tells him to cut Will loose. Like, cut him loose, get out. Here's my question. It comes down to the vision here. We didn't get to the vision, so let's talk briefly about the vision. We don't have much time left. So the Stagg opens the cell, right, for Will. When we go into this little montage at the end where we see where everybody's at. Stagg opens the cell for Will, and Will can go down the hallway, and he does, following the Stagg, and then he turns back, and Hannibal is holding the door to the cell open for him. And looks like he's like kind of ushering him back into the cell. So is that Hannibal will get you out and Hannibal will put you back? Or is it the other way? Hannibal puts you in and Hannibal gets you out?
Well, I think for one thing, I definitely see the cycle of him getting out and then possibly getting back in because of Hannibal. So, which I think is absolutely what we see happening. You know, we see Hannibal having fun with Will, bringing him back in, only to confuse him and possibly bring him back. Bring him back out just to confuse him and bring him back in again.
Or
so
maybe it's Will deciding if he's going to let Hannibal do whatever he needs to get him out, or if he's going to feel too guilty about that. If that makes sense, because Hannibal is presenting to Will options to get out. So, but they are misguided and they seem pretty darn illegal. Yeah. So is he going to let him do that?
Well, I don't know. Double jeopardy.
Just to get out?
You get away with it, you're done. But all right. Well, let's take a look at that last scene real quick. Alana is holding Will. Alana's talking to Will. I hope this verdict would help you move on. That was her motivation. I want you to move on. And then. What does the killer want? The killer wants to know me. That's Will? That's what Will says, right? The killer wants to know me. And then, what do you want? And she says, to save you. It felt like Russian theater to me. Like it felt like Chekhov. But you know what made the scene work was the simplicity of it. They didn't overwork it. I thought it was very. How
much can you do when you're chained to a table?
It's a fair point. It's a very, very good point.
What did you want? A little song and dance?
The other version of the scene where they're flying. You know. That's a fair point. They were chained to a table. Well, he was. She was nice enough to sit there with him. I like that cute little scene. I want to say, I want to save you. Does Alana get to save him? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. All right, you guys. Do we have any news and gossip on this thing?
No.
I didn't think so. Let's go straight to predictions, man.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Julia Cearley. I don't want to hear about your predictions yet. Nando Velasquez, what do you got for us?
Of course, you always have it against me. I think, you know what? I just feel that for some reason, I don't like Katie. I just don't like her. And I don't know if I could see her doing this, but I definitely feel she knows more about the copycat killers than she's letting on. So maybe I'll say it there. I'll leave it at that.
All right, so Katie's involved in this copycat killer situation.
I think Katie's involved in this, and whether she wants to admit it or not, and she's putting the emphasis on Jack.
All right, I got you.
Okay,
Julia Cearley.
This one's a little far-fetched, but
Bring it.
I think Abigail is alive, and I think she is the copycat killer working under Hannibal, that he's putting her up to it. That's why she has to shoot them first, because she's not strong enough to overtake them on her own. Except for maybe the judge. I think Hannibal maybe had something to do with that, because he was pretty pissed. So yeah, I think Abigail is alive, and she's working with Hannibal, or he's sort of puppet mastering her to carry out these copycat kills.
Interesting. All right, I think... Here's my prediction, if you're ready for this. I think Hannibal's the killer, straight up. I think he is setting this up for more torture for Will. I mean, there's really no way to lose if it is Hannibal. If everybody buys into the whole thing that he's the copycat is the actual killer, great, Will's out. We start the party all over again. If it goes the way it's going now, I get to torment Will some more and kill some more people and have some more fun and mess with everybody. And we'll see if anybody figures this out. That's what I think's going on. That's my prediction. Hannibal's a killer. There you go. Boom.
So your prediction is that Hannibal murders people?
You know what? These people. That's what makes it a good prediction. Is it specific to these people?
That's a really good prediction.
That's a good prediction.
Popo.
Wow.
You shut up, Julie Cearley. I'm not talking to you anymore. Don't you laugh in there, Marissa Serafini.
For the following, then you'll talk to me.
Then I'll talk to you later on tonight. All right. We want to thank you guys all for downloading us on iTunes. And if you have downloaded us on the iTunes, we love ratings. And if you could rate us, we do love. Julia, what do we love?
I think the number is 5.
We do. We love 5.
5s.
And if you are downloading us on the iTunes and you'd like to check us out on the YouTubes. We're not bad-looking people. Well, some of us anyway. I don't know. Anyway, we appreciate you very, very much downloading, taking the time. And any comments, any feedback you guys have, we read them all. And we would we'll usually talk back and forth with you. It's easier on YouTube. Nando Velasquez, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me on the Twitter at Nandovel, Nandovel, and here for The Walking Dead on AfterBuzz, as well as with you guys on Bates Motel and the following.
And Miss Julia Cearley.
You can find me as well on Twitter at my name, Julia Cearley, JuliaCearley. Same thing on Instagram. And then here at AfterBuzz, the following, Blacklist, and...
and Blacklist.
Oh, yeah, the Blacklist. And Hannibal. God, I love Hannibal.
And you can find me at Joe Flippo, JoeFlippo on the Twitters. And my website is josephsanfilippo.com. And we will see you guys if you're...
and Joe K. Braswell. Don't forget to follow him on Twitter, too. Who will be back with us this week.
He will be back next week after he has debauched all of Denver. We will see you guys next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.